Hey there Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to another video. And if you are new here, my name is Hannah. I am a Western practical astrologer, and I am here today to talk about the Cancer personality. So we're going to be looking at the personal planets within the sign of Cancer as well as the Cancer rising. The personal planets being the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus and Mars, so stay tuned. But before we do dive into today's video, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button and click the bell. And if you are interested in a personal reading from myself, then you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. There you can also find my practical astrology ebooks and merch. All the links will be in the description box below. I do hope that you find this video to be helpful today. Let's do this. So before we do dive into this video, I really would like to know, do you have any Cancer placements? Let us know in the comment section. Okay, so looking at the Cancer personality, overall, if you have a Cancer personality, you are caring, kind, nurturing, and very insightful. You are very much in tune with your emotions, feelings, and inner world, whether you're aware of it or not. Some of you might be, but then others of you, not so much. It really depends on the rest of your chart perhaps, and other factors, but really you feel deeply and your emotions often move you, and you also bring such a heartfelt quality to other people's lives. Your feelings are sincere and generally you mean other people well. You can be inviting, accommodating, and really loving, especially to those who are closest to you. You'll be especially supportive and caring toward friends and family if you have the moon in Cancer, or you'll seek an emotional connection within your relationships if you have Venus in Cancer, and you'll come across as so kind and thoughtful and considerate if you have a Cancer rising. However, this is not to say that you can be pushed around by other people. Oh, no. You know how to hold your own, and you'll react to people who try to diminish you or put you down in any way. And this is the thing, right? You're about emotional security. You need to feel emotionally secure. And when you don't feel secure, you'll react or you'll do something to regain it. And you can be very determined and driven people too. You can be so strong, real tough cookies. Your symbol is the crab after all, and crabs have claws. And they also have a shell. These are forms of protection. But what lies within you is this deeply sensitive world. You're sensitive to other people's words, actions, and reactions to you, and even toward other people. And so, thinking about it this way, there is a need to protect yourself because you are such sensitive people. Now, this is not to say that your reactions to things are always justified here, because this is the thing. You might lash out at others or say something that you later regret. You might also sulk and hold on to insults. You can hold on to past situations and events that really hurt you. And so I think a possible challenge of yours is recognizing how you react to other people. But then again, perhaps another lesson is recognizing too how others react toward you, because there can even be times when people do react in inappropriate ways or insulting ways, but you still hold on to that relationship or to that situation. Still, you're learning to manage your emotions and at the same time validating your emotions. You might actually react based on what you were told during childhood, which, following on from this point, Cancer rules the family and home in astrology. You have very, very strong ties to your family, either in a positive way or a negative way. Family and home means so much to you. Again, whether this be positively or negatively. And even for those of you who have or had a difficult relationship with your family and your parents, such experiences still seem to have a hold on you, even whenever you are so much older in life. There is this unconscious pull they have. There is this unconscious pull when it comes to the past overall. And again, whether this be in a positive light or a negative light. And so there is this likelihood of you bringing those family situations to your relationships with lovers, friends, co-workers, clients, and so on. Why? Because of emotional attachment. Though, just focusing on this in a positive light here, right? You can be such sentimental and traditional people. You might keep family traditions going, or you create such a loving bond with your partner or with your child. Even thinking about a co-worker relationship, you can be such family-oriented people, such loving and kind people, very, very supportive, and you'll do anything for your loved ones. There's a need to feel close and to be needed as well. Then again, I also think that when you get older, so as you start to mature, as you start to grow, you become more of an individual. And what I mean by this is you consider what you want and you express what you need. See, you can often feel drained because you feel like others are taking too much from you. And you can have people in your life who are like this, they're just takers. But at the same time, there's this part of you that willingly will give. You willingly give. And it is amazing that you are such, giving and generous people. But still, the point I'm trying to make here is that as you mature, you learn to establish healthy boundaries. Boundaries tied to your ego. Oh, and the insight you can bring to other people's lives, incredible. You also see into people deeply, and your perspectives can encourage other people to change, for example. Not to mention, you can be highly, highly intuitive people. All right, so let's get into the personal planets and the rising sign in Cancer. Okay, so let's begin by looking at the Cancer rising. So if you have your rising in Cancer, when other people first meet you, they are greeted with these qualities of protection, support, insight, and care. The way you walk or move throughout the day can fluctuate because your outlook on life is very much ruled by your moods and your feelings. So one day you might feel really up for something, but the next day it's a completely different story. There are days when you're more sensitive to other people's actions or their feedback, but then other days when you're feeling much more calm and warm and really cuddly as well. It's all a mystery. Your mood fluctuations just make you so unpredictable. Still, I also think that you try to be kind and thoughtful people in general. Just some days people can test you. You might come across as sweet and loving, or you might come across as shy and reserved, or it could be that you come across as comforting and really supportive. It all really depends, it depends on the day, it depends on the mood. I mean, you may even have times when you come across as pretty protective. Also, you can be driven and tenacious when it comes to your aims and your ambitions. You can be such determined, powerful, and hard-working people. You can be incredibly focused and business-minded. Maybe you often are told just how dedicated, security-focused, and driven you are. I mean, this is the first house we're talking about here, and the first house is the house of I am. Now, it's also important to locate your chart ruler, which is the moon, because your moon placement is going to give you much more information about your moods, your security, your memories as well. It's also going to provide you with information about your family situation, about the past, your childhood. Essentially, your journey of self-discovery is tied to your caregiving, your support, and your protection. The sun in Cancer, your ego is strongly tied to your home, family, past, and your emotions. And so you might feel really, really good about yourself, really pleased with yourself when you feel supported by your family, by your friends, your partner, for example, or you might feel confident when your emotions are validated and your feelings are seen, they're acknowledged. It's like, notice how I'm feeling right now. Pay attention to me. Now, you might be conscious of this, seeing as this is the sun we are talking about, or you might be unconscious to such things because it's still looking at the moon here, because the moon does rule Cancer. Then again, perhaps as you grow older, as you mature, you become much more aware of how you need to feel seen when you're going through something emotional, even to feel seen by your family and your loved ones, etc. is important. And in terms of self-expression, you tend to express your emotions more openly when you feel secure, when you feel safe to do so. Now, you might not be quick to share how you feel with someone you have just met, with someone you don't know, but the more connection is formed, the more there is a rapport there's empathy that is established, well, the likelier you are to share. Also, you might feel a greater confidence when you're complimented for your support, your caregiving, for being compassionate. And seeing as the sun is tied to the heart in astrology, you can be such heartfelt and warm people. Naturally, do make sure to consider the aspects you have to your Cancer sun, or if you have other placements, which makes things quite different. Still, you express qualities of empathy, care, support, and compassion, and your purpose is tied to these things. And also make sure to consider the house that your sun in Cancer is in, because this will tell you the area of life that this energy is playing out in. The moon in Cancer. Okay, so we are going from expressing the Cancer traits as well as the ego being tied to the Cancer traits. And we're moving to the very deep and internal mode of these traits. Not to mention, the moon is home in this sign, and so the moon is strong here. It's more than comfortable being here. And this makes sense because if you have your moon in Cancer, you are naturally emotional and spiritual and intuitive. The very spiritual, psychic, and intuitive functions of the moon are going to be felt on a whole other level here. Perhaps you're someone who is in tune with the cycles of the moon, meaning that as the moon moves through all of the signs throughout the year, you feel the signs' qualities very strongly, especially during new moons or full moons. And another thing here about you is you are going to consider what you need. You know deep down what you need emotionally from others, how you need to be supported, loved, and cared for. And you're also going to be there to support others with love and kindness, especially your family. And if you have any children, you are going to be so nurturing, very nurturing toward your children, very comforting. Even if you have any pets, same thing. You can bring these sort of nurturing maternal qualities toward your pets. And so you step into the nurturing caregiving role so beautifully. Then again, even apply caregiving to plants or to a creative project that you're working on, or thinking about music. You're also impacted by your emotions, which can lead to all sorts of mayhem and chaos. Of course, this could be, so it could look like something very minor, like you feeling a need to sleep in a bit longer. But then you have much more washing to do later on. You have more chores to do later on. Or maybe it's that you are late for a particular appointment. But thinking about this in a bigger way, you might lash out at your partner, causing an argument. Naturally, do also consider the aspects being made to your Cancer moon, as well as other placements. Though ultimately here, you are instinctively caring, accommodating, and family-orientated people, keeping in mind that family can apply to friends, etc. Oh, and your home is your sanctuary. You might actually be a typical homebody. Also, do make sure to consider the house that your moon in Cancer is in, because this will tell you the area of life that this energy is playing out in. Hi, it's me again. So I just wanted to inform you about the practical astrology guide that I have created. So it is a 20-day practical astrology guide, and it covers the ins and outs of astrology, looking also at how a natal chart is created. It touches on the astrological ages, it looks at astronomy as well, and also looking at those practical representations of the 7 classical planets and the angular points. So if you are someone who is interested in astrology, you're new to it, even if you are an astrology student or you're an astrologer, because we can all learn something different from each other, I definitely recommend this guide. My whole intention with this guide is that you will walk away from it thinking of astrology, hopefully practically and also differently. And my major key aim really with this guide is using the stars for self-awareness. So learning about astrology, but also learning more about yourself and learning more about other people. Plus, it is super affordable, costing only about £2 per day. Though, if you are interested in just a little taster, so looking at you dipping your toes into what this guide is all about, that is available for you as well. Mercury in Cancer. You are an emotional communicator, an intuitive learner, and an insightful teacher. You pick up on the deeper themes happening within conversations, for example. You might notice what isn't being said, or you might notice what someone's intention is when they say something, or when they don't say something. You also can be quite musical and creative people. Certain melodies or songs and art pieces move you. Nostalgic too. I mean, nostalgia is a big part of this. Certain images and videos just bring you back to a particular time and place. Maybe you even love to journal. You love to kind of write about your feelings. Perhaps you even like historical or vintage movies, or movies that remind you of your childhood. Then again, if you didn't have the best childhood, not so much. And when it comes to learning subjects and topics, you might take your time learning, and you consider how information makes you feel. You'll also reflect deeply upon what you're researching, what you're studying, and in this way, you can be amazing at retaining knowledge. You might actually have a great memory when it comes to things that matter, of course. And it's also likely that you share stories about the past. You take people back in time when having a conversation. And when it comes to the likes of driving, commuting, or moving throughout your local city or neighborhood, it's really about how you feel. Do I feel like going here? Do I really want to meet up with these friends in this place? Some of you might even decide not to go to a certain event because you're simply not feeling it. And when you're at an event, you might be thinking, is it time to go home yet? Naturally, do also consider aspects being made to your Cancer Mercury as well as other placements. But overall, you are intuitive when it comes to the likes of writing, speaking, and media. Oh, and you might not be the most direct communicators. Still, do make sure to consider the house that your Mercury in Cancer is in, because this is going to show you the area of life that this energy is playing out in. Venus in Cancer. So we are bringing this sensitive, emotional, and supportive energy of Cancer, and we're applying it to the likes of finances, resources, and relationships. And so therefore, you can be security focused when it comes to love, for example. You aren't going to jump into an sort of any old relationship quickly. You're not going to jump in just for the sake of it. Then again, perhaps some of you do. I mean, just following on from this point, your emotions and your feelings might be so strong for someone, okay? And so your heart might lead the way. Your heart might be so in it that then you don't really stop to consider how secure you truly feel, or you don't consider logic, you don't consider reason. So there is that side to this as well, but there is also this other part of this, or this other part of you that must feel emotionally secure. The relationship itself must be safe and secure. Though, to be fair, safe and secure doesn't necessarily mean the person is a good match for you. Again, thinking about how you can be so wrapped up in the feelings. You can become attached quite easily. And if you are in an unhealthy relationship, it can be difficult to leave. Now, on the other hand here, when in a relationship, let's look at this in a positive light, you can be loving and kind, really sweet, really sentimental. You're so supportive of your lovers. You love making memories together, and you're also attracted to potential lovers who are caring. You seek a connection that is comforting. And when it comes to business partnerships, you can be shrewd, you can be decisive. Sure, you might not be the most direct or forward when making business deals or reaching agreements and signing contracts and so on. But I think being subtle can be so helpful, and you can do really well in this regard. You also know how to play it safe and when to make an offer, for instance. And it's also likely that you can make money from shopkeeping, photography, or antiques. Naturally, do also consider the aspects being made to your Cancer Venus as well as other placements, though essentially you seek emotional support and security when it comes to your relationships. And you value a spiritual connection, and you also value your spiritual practices. Now, do also make sure to consider the house that your Venus in Cancer is in, because this is going to show you the area of life that this energy is playing out in. And lastly, Mars in Cancer. All right, so first and foremost, let's just address the elephant in the room here. And that is that Mars is in its fall in the sign of Cancer. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad or negative thing. Okay, sure, Mars can be debilitating when it's in this sign, which I will get into. But a positive note to begin with here, Mars here suggests that you feel out situations before you take action. You trust what you know, what you're used to, what works, what is safe. And you can be highly intuitive when it comes to how you assert yourself. And so you can keep yourself out of potentially dangerous situations. But there can also be times when you are afraid of change. But this can be to such an extent that you don't act on something at all. You're so afraid of change that you don't explore unknown territories. You don't open yourself up to new opportunities. And at the same time, when you do act, when you do set out to achieve your goals here, you can be so driven, determined, strong, and powerful people. But the thing must mean something to you on an emotional level. But if you're forced, I suppose, because in life we can be forced to do something that we don't want to do, whether within our job, when it comes to a day-to-day situation. When you're forced, it's like, oh, I don't know how to handle this. This is so uncomfortable for me. I don't feel secure. Still, you must connect with the goal emotionally. You must feel passionate about it, inspired by it. If not, things can burn out very quickly. Not to mention, your emotions can fluctuate when it comes to your goals. So when you get to the point when you don't feel like it anymore, then you won't do it. And this isn't necessarily a negative thing, but when you have a deadline to meet, for example, this can be a challenge then. And when it comes to your anger, you might cry when angry. You struggle to get the words out. You struggle to really express how you feel, why you're angry. And you might also worry that how you're coming across is maybe it's too strong, or that other people don't get where you're coming from. And you can be somewhat more passive when it comes to disagreements, etc. Being passive aggressive is a likelihood here. So instead of addressing a situation head on, you tiptoe around it. Then you don't feel secure. And you also end up exploding eventually. However, I think that as you grow, as you mature, you learn to manage these things so much better. You grow to become an emotional leader, but in a way that is direct and really impactful and motivating. Naturally here, do also consider the aspects being made to your Cancer Mars as well as other placements, though essentially you make for brilliant counselors, sales assistants, care workers, artists, and healers. And you can be so supportive toward your clients, your friends, your lovers, and your colleagues, and so on. Though just to finish this here, do also consider the house that your Cancer Mars is in, because this is going to show you the area of life that this energy is playing out in. Okay then, Cosmic Warriors, so that concludes my video talking about the Cancer personality. I do hope that you found this video to be helpful today, and please let us know if you resonated with your placement. I would really appreciate that. And again, let us know your Cancer placements down below. And as always, your thoughts and your opinions are appreciated. But with all of that being said, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And of course, if you would like to see more videos from myself and you have not yet subscribed, then make sure that you click that subscribe button and also give this video a like if you did like it today. And I will be back with another video very, very soon. Bye!